Not gonna lie, it's kind of freezing here right now and it's kind of late to start a video, but we've been on a very good upload schedule lately, almost every single day basically. So to keep the grind going, we're back again. Now, if you didn't see yesterday's video, we went ahead and pulled the engine out of the Jetta here, and this is it. 2003 1.8 turbo, engine code AWP, and it has the 09A 5-speed automatic transmission on it. Now, the current plan for this engine is to put it in my 1994 Pink Floyd Golf 3, which would be pretty cool because then I'll have a 4-cylinder Mark III, a 5-cylinder Mark III, and Miley is my VR6 6-cylinder Mark III. It's gonna be a cool lineup to have all three of them. Yesterday, I went through and pulled out all the wiring that I'm gonna need for the swap, which you can see this big mess of stuff right here, but all that'll get turned into a harness like this one down here. Again, for my homie Matt over at Eurocraft, who made this harness. This is my Mark III to Mark IV VR5 harness, which will go into this card here. But same thing that we did with that one, we'll get done with this one as well. Now, if you're wondering, no, we're not using the automatic transmission for the swap. I already have an O2J 5-speed to go with the engine, so this massive tank of a transmission needs to come off today. Now, in the past, I've pulled multiple Volkswagen manual transmissions. I mean, even a few days ago, we just pulled the O2J 5-speed off the 1.8 turbo, but I've never pulled an automatic trans off before, and trying to find information on pulling an automatic Mark IV trans is kind of hard to do. I found one little thread on Vortex that gave me a little bit of insight on how to do it. Hopefully that information is right, I don't know yet, but in terms of like videos on YouTube, you can find O2J 5-speed trans removal all day long, but I didn't see anything on Mark IV automatic transmissions unless I just missed it. But I'll try and share what I find out today with you guys. Again, the information I got might be wrong, but again, there's no videos on this, so I'll try and share what I know, what I learn with you guys. So the basic gist of what I read, and again, this might be totally wrong, but we're gonna give it a shot. You have to remove the starter first. There's an access window somewhere behind it so you can see into the trans a little bit, and undo the bolts between the flex plate holding to the torque converter, and you use the crank to kind of spin it around and get all the bolts. And then after that, I think it's supposed to like move back a little bit because there's bolts that hold the bell housing up here to the actual block, but I'm not quite sure how to get to them just yet. But we'll start with pulling this off and then go from there. So to remove the starter, it looks like there's one bolt here on the left side and then one right above my finger right down there on the right side. And once those two are out, I believe this should come free. All right, there's our first one. All right, bolt number 2 is now out, and I might have to either move this or this hose, but so I can fit it out in between the two, we'll see. Not quite, so maybe this way. Not really a one-handed job here. Oh, maybe. Give it to me. There she is. Okay. Starter is out. Now, this is our window here, which we will have to rotate with the crank. And then I think it says there's 3 bolts on here that connect. I guess that's the flex plate in the back to the torque converter, which is this piece here, I want to say. Moving right along, and then you see there's a bolt right there. There's one over there. Progress. Making progress. All right, so now we can go ahead and rotate this forward and find the bolts that hold them together, which I am not seeing currently. Oh, actually, it looks like there's probably one you can see right there. But now I'm thinking, seeing that, I probably remove those after the transmission is already out. So I'll probably do these bolts, all the big ones now. We can probably separate it. And if I wanted the torque converter out, we would do that, but I don't need that. So I think that's what we do next. I mean, I don't see any bolts on this actual piece here. So, all right, well, let's try and tackle all of these ones here, which I'm not even sure what size those are. Hopefully I have the right tool for that, and then hopefully we can separate the trans from the engine. So the only triple squares that I have are a 6, an 8, a 10, and I have this 12 here. But even the 12 that I have, you can see that, is just spinning. It's too small. So I'm assuming that is a M14 triple square, which I don't think I have. And if I don't have that, this is not gonna happen today. So, all right, so unfortunately, I do not have an M14 triple square or anything else big enough to fit these massive bolts. So currently, this project is kind of dead in the water. I wish I would have knew ahead of time that I needed M14, but again, I couldn't find much information about what tools we even needed. So we're kind of learning as we go. But tomorrow I'll have to try and find one so we can get these bolts out and continue pulling this trans off. I just don't know why they decided to use such massive triple square bolts. We could have easily used the normal like socket head bolts. I mean, I just pulled a trans off a 1.8T like 2 days ago. It had all the normal like 17, 18, those normal bolts, but they decided we're gonna use these bolts for no reason, just frustration basically. So tomorrow, M14, and then this thing will hopefully get off at that point. I mean, we haven't even got that far into this, and I don't know what other surprises are waiting for me, but hey, we're getting there. So funny enough, I'm currently on Facebook right now, and I was about to post on Bernal Mark 4s, just asking for tips and tricks on how to pull an automatic trans. And the very first post I see on the discussion side is from Kenny Bell, and he's pulling out, it is a different project, but he's pulling out an automatic trans right now. You can see his M14 right there, but his problem is he doesn't have enough room to fit a socket to actually get this off. And this post has pretty much all the information you could possibly need on actually pulling a Mark 4 automatic trans out. It's super helpful. So I have an M14 coming tomorrow, which is one of those. But the biggest thing that's super nice to have is these right here. So I'm gonna get a set of these as well that go into the end of the M14, because if you look, like I said, for his problem was this is too long and you actually can't fit a socket in there. But with the little end cap, you can pop in and then use a wrench. So this post helped out a ton. So shout out to the Bernal Mark 4 Facebook page, because pretty much every bit of information you need on pulling an automatic trans is in here, which is super sick. So now tomorrow we get this done. All right, my tools for today have arrived. Shout out to Jordan for dropping these off. You can see he sent me a whole set. Bam, triple square. So M14 right there, and also a long one. We'll be using this one, but since this one is kind of longer, I'll have to get the little adapter pit to go on the backside. But again, shout out to Jordan. This set is actually sick. I need this. All right, so I just stopped by work because I was hoping to find a little end wrench adapter piece to go on the back side of the M14, but I was able to find at least a smaller M14. So you can see this one is just a bit shorter than that one. Hopefully it's enough room to be able to put this in and then get a wrench on the back side of this. This one will work for the rest of them, but it's a bit too long, so I'm hoping that little bit of difference there is gonna be the key. Had to stop by real quick. Woo! The Pink Floyd Golf looking so good. So hopefully the Jetta leaves this week and this car shall be coming home. So now that we have the proper tools, hopefully we can get the transmission off. I also learned this is one window, but the window I needed to actually see the bolts to hold the flex plate to the torque converter is actually on the back of the trans somewhere. So I'm gonna lift this up, spin it around, undo those bolts first, and come back and knock out all these M14s. There's one there, one there, one there, and the tricky one is the one right that over here. But we have some tools, and hopefully we can make it happen. So on the back of the trans here, there's this little axle shield. We have to pull that off, but back over there, you can see there's a little grommet. That is the grommet you pull out. That's the window you look through to disconnect the bolts from the flex plate to the torque converter. So with the axle shield out of the way, you can see much better. That is the little access hole right there. You actually see the first bolt, which is right up in there. So take each one off, rotate around the crank once they're all done, and then we can hit these big bolts down here for the actual trans itself, and we should be home free. All right, first nut is off. They are indeed 15 millimeter, and how I'm doing this is I have my impact with the long extension to go straight in. You can see back over there, right up to the hole. These are on there pretty snug, so the impact does a great job. Extension in, and then just blast them straight off. So now I'm gonna go ahead and just rotate this around and knock the rest out. All right, there's number two. I think there's 3 total. Maybe there's only 2, we'll see. So impact in, hold it tight, and then off she goes. Just like that. Bam, number 2. I think there's 3 total, but let me see. There's only 2. Oh, there it is. There's the last one right there. Number 3. So again, impact in. Voila. All right, so all 3 are off. And at this point, the flex plate should be disconnected from the torque converter, and now we can do all the massive trans bolts and then start to try and pry it apart. All right, so moving to the front of the trans now, it looks like we have 1, 2, 3, 4 right there on the side, 5 right there towards the bottom, and 6 at the very bottom down there. I think that is all the rest of the bolts that hold it on. These top ones here look like M14s, and I think these ones on the bottom are either M12s or M10s. Great success. The shorter M14 I got with my 3/8 ratchet was just enough to break it free. Now I'm gonna go ahead and pull the ratchet off, because if you keep backing it out, I won't have enough room to pull us out and then we'll be stuck. But at least we got it broke free. Yeah. So funny enough, the bolt that I was worried about was actually the easiest one, which was this one right here, because I had the smaller 3/8 drive bit and I had the nice small ratchet here. Now for the M12s, this one and the one down on the bottom, I only have the 1/2 inch, and my massive ratchet's too big to fit in there with that. So I was gonna use a vice grip to just grab onto the bolt and pull it out. But what you actually do, what's nice about these ones, is there's a little bit of space towards the end. You can see right there. You actually fit a wrench on that one. So instead of having an extension at this end, I could just put a wrench right there. Whereas the one that I have doesn't have that. So not all of them actually have the spot for a wrench, but thankfully the ones from Jordan actually do. So this one down here, you can see M12 is in. I'm gonna take the 12 right here and just fit it like that right onto it, and now I can go through and break it free. Let's go. All right, this one right here will be another one. This one's one of the M14s, but got to use the wrench method again, because the connector here for the automatic transmission is definitely in the way. You can't fit anything back here. So this will be another one that you'll need to do the wrench on. So make sure if you want to do this, you have triple squares that you can use a wrench on, because otherwise there's just nothing else that quite fits in here. Even my smaller M14 with the smaller ratchet doesn't fit because this connector is in the way. So having the wrench that can fit on the actual triple square is a huge help. So our final trans bolt is right up inside there, another M14. I ended up pulling off what I believe is the trans cooler that goes on right here. It's held on by one bolt and then it just pops right off. You might be able to go this way, but all of like these hoses and stuff and like all this stuff is in the way, so it's a little bit easier to go from this side and you have a bit more leverage. So this is the last bolt, and then we can go ahead and separate the trans off. All right, so I was in the process of separating the trans from the block, but I was getting stuck, and it turns out I missed one bolt way down here on the bottom side right there, which looks like to be another M14. So after that one is off, totally missed that one, then she's coming off there. Okay, all of the bolts at this point should now be off, I think. Flex plate bolts are off to torque converter, and all the bolts around the transmission have been pulled. I don't think I missed anything, but we will find out here momentarily. I just wanted to fall and hit my camera because that would be no fun. All right, let's go a bit more. All right, we should be able to just slowly pry it off now. Slowly coming off. We're gonna get it to pop off the torque converter here, and she should be good. There she goes, close to the camera, but I didn't hit it. Look at that. This heavy tank of a piece of crap is now officially off. Thank goodness. Not gonna lie, I was a slight bit worried the trans was gonna do one more roll and just crush my camera, but no worries. We got the action shot, everything is good. The transmission's off. All we need to do now is pull off that piece right there, and then the automatic life is over. The final step for today is to put the 1.8 turbo on the engine stand. So after going through all of my hardware, this is how the mount is gonna be bolted up on the clutch side over here. I did wanna put this on the back side like the normal VR style mounts would normally go, but unfortunately I don't have the right size hardware to go into the back of the block, and this being the way it is, kind of fits weird back there. Now Eurowise does make a mount that's actually for the 1.8T. Now obviously I don't have it, so I decided to go with this, which should be fine. We have a trans bolt here, another bolt up here. These are both 12 by 1.75 I want to say, and then a bolt through and a bolt through. I might do one more straight through here into another trans hole over there, but this should be good to go. It's nice and sturdy, not going anywhere. So I'm gonna spin it around and we'll get it put on the stand. We are officially on the ground. All the weight is off the hoist. Nice and sturdy, good to go. All right, so the 1.8T will sit right here until it's time to start that build. Tomorrow's plans are probably working on the jet a little bit, getting the last few pieces that I need to pull off of it, and then a few pieces back on before it leaves. Hopefully Thursday this car is leaving and the pink fluid will come home, and then the pink fluid will probably just sit until it's time to be swapped As far as the Savoy goes, I ordered the clutch today, so that should be here in a few weeks. I actually ordered it to Steve's house because last time he sent me his VR6 clutch and made it to me in no time with no issues at all. So it's like a few days shipping to his house in the States and then to me. So within a couple weeks, we should have the clutch for the VR5. I have the wire harness right there, which I need to be putting in the car, but we've been a little busy with this kind of stuff. But soon, the wire harness will go in, the clutch will be here in a few weeks, and then we can finally put the VR5 into the Savoy. But with that, gonna end the video here. Hope you guys enjoyed. Do not forget, be thankful for every single day. See you guys next time. Peace.